Freshman year, it was tough because I came in and I didn't know anyone that was here, and so I would just sit in the dining hall by myself and hope that people would come up to me.
Not only had nobody there know me, but nobody knew where I was coming from, and nobody knew my background, and that was really unexpected, I guess.
I felt that it just wasn't for me. I felt that there would have been issues with me.
Like, I didn't have any friends. It was like the same situation going into high school, except a little bit bigger. So it was, it was really overwhelming. I thought college was definitely for, like, the most intelligent people. So I wasn't sure if, I was gonna cut it.
I don't know, I just had this perception that it was just what you do. You finish high school and you go on to college. And I didn't really think much about, like, how hard it would be or how the transition would be, or especially being so introverted, what that transition would be like for me.
I mean, I just think that freshman year is hard, and I think the transition from high school to college is a huge one that no one really tells you about, because I think that college is really glamorized when it comes to when people are talking about it and thinking about it. People don't generally, when you ask, how's college going, say, oh, it's terrible. Like, I don't have friends, and so you might not be getting the whole true story to how someone feels about it, but I think it's important to, like, realize that the jump from high school to college is a big one, and it's not anything like the same.
I just felt very trapped inside of my room and not really wanting to go out and make friends because I really didn't know how to with such a big campus and not really knowing what was available to me.
I don't know, I feel like you watch movies and TV shows about how college is and everyone's hanging out and having fun and making friends, and it was really just hard classes and feeling like the classes were really tough and took up all your time and you couldn't really make friends outside of that.
For instance, in some movies, like, you'll see psychology classes and things like that. And some of my experience was that way, but some of it definitely wasn't. It's about normal people getting their education, just trying to make it through all the struggles that they have to deal with.
Walking around campus, you see these big groups of people walking around that know each other, and it was difficult to see that. The group that I was hanging out with mostly in high school, they were a year younger than I, for the most part, and my best friends were a year younger than I was. So it was really difficult for me to go to college knowing that they're going to be back home doing the things that I love to do, and I wasn't going to be there as a part of it.
You have these relationships in high school and you don't even think about how they really form. They just kind of happen, and it was never like, throw you into this and have to build them up from zero right away. But that's definitely how it felt coming into college.
Just to see, like, everybody around me, it was just like they were so grown-ups, so much like adult, and they were like the cliche college kid. And then on the other side, I saw, like, so many that were wild and crazy, and that's not me either. And I'm just like, where do I go?
I thought that college was, you get to be best friends with your roommates, you meet people in class, and you do things constantly like high school. You see these people every single day, but college isn't like that because it's so much bigger, and you really don't see the same people on a regular basis. They have the choice whether or not they want to go to class, and sometimes those people don't come to class. You don't see them on a steady basis where you can develop those friendships.
I would call my family a lot and be really upset, and I think there were points where they got to the point where they were like, Chelsea, just go out and talk to people. but I was unhappy, and I got it in my head that I didn't belong here, and so that was hard. But they really, when I looked into transferring and I looked at different schools, they told me to just stay for one more semester, like give it one last try, and that's kind of what pushed me to continue, because I figured if I have to stay for another semester, I might as well try. And then I realized that I really liked the campus and the people, so.
Like when you're a freshman, you don't always get into like student groups or clubs or non-academic activities that are, still on campus. So it's up to you to find some people sometimes in your class. So yeah, there was definitely some people who seemed scared just like me, and sometimes I would break that barrier and actually talk to them, and I say like, boy, this is kind of hard, or, I never experienced this in high school. And I would get all different types of responses, like, oh, well, I took some AP classes, but I'm still scared, or, oh man, this is really overwhelming, and they felt just like me, or, oh, well, why don't we try to help each other through this, or sometimes they wouldn't say anything, so it just depends.
There was a time when I had, a few times I should say, when I got a few bad letter grades, and it was almost it for me. I felt, oh, this isn't for me. This isn't me. And I kind of felt how I felt that feeling of how others felt before me that didn't go to college, or that didn't get their degrees or didn't finish high school. I felt that what they felt, and through high school I never had that feeling. But once I got to college, because it was not like high school where there wasn't someone there holding your hand, there wasn't someone there right there to explain stuff to you, and that's what really hit me.
The high school that I went to, it was very small, so they took a large amount of pride in their well-achieving students. And so when we all went to college, it was kind of an eye-opener that we are not the top of the student class. That even though we might have been at the top when we were in high school, that was not the case when you're in the college, in the university setting. And I think even going up to the master's level, you get surrounded by people that are much more brilliant than yourself.
I took a upperclassman course my freshman year, the first semester, and nearly failed out of it because I just didn't know what I was doing. Even to enroll in a class like that was upper level, I didn't get like the 100s, the 200s, and 300 level classes, and how like you don't want to take a higher 200 level if you're brand new to the school. And so I remember I turned in the midterm, and the final exam, actually, it was take home, and I only did like one of 3 essays because it was all I could handle doing. And I just barely made it out of that class. I don't know how. But I definitely felt like, because I was good academically. I was very strong academically before I came to school, and having that challenged as well. There were just so many aspects of myself that were being challenged all at the same time.
Freshman year, I had to take a general education math course, and math was just the thing that I was terrible at. I couldn't compute numbers, I just couldn't figure it out, and I got my first math test back, and I think I got like a 14, and I went to the professor's office hours sobbing, and I was like, I'm gonna fail college, and he was like, no, it's one test, and we dropped the lowest one, and you'll be fine. So I don't know, that was kind of like the point where I just felt like no one else is going to get a 14 on a test in college. And
but it's always good to talk to supportive staff, and some people have jobs. Their main job is to talk to college students, especially new college students, and just try to pep them up and keep it going, keep their motivation up. So that's how I made it through. Like, I talked to different counselors. Sometimes I would talk to different classmates maybe that I would study with if I was lucky enough to be social enough and push through that. And I would talk to my parents sometimes. So those 3 main categories, you got to get some support from somewhere.
I I didn't even like my advisor when I came into college. I avoided her, to be honest. I felt like it was so anxiety-ridden having to sit down with this woman who, again, didn't know much about me, didn't know much about who I was or, you know, what I might want to do. And I changed my major like from the very first day I was in college, and I felt like embarrassed to go and talk to her about this. So I avoided her, the one person who I could have connected with early on.
Make sure you bring you know, traditions with you, and just bring an open mind. Don't come in with that closed mind that, you know, everyone's against you, or, you know, just that racism's there, you know, or that you can't do it, you know. I always think, you know, anyone can do it. It's just how much you want it and how much you want to put into it, you know, to get to your goal. And it's tough, you know. It's not easy, I'll say that, but the rewards are, you know, everlasting.
Having gotten to the point of obtaining a degree, that is an extreme accomplishment. And aside from any pride that is felt by anybody else, the feeling that you get when you accomplish such a great task is a greater feeling than you could ever feel doing anything else.
I'm very glad that I stuck it out. I can't imagine having left college. I can't imagine what that would have meant for me, personally and professionally, and what other path I might be on after I gave up on that goal that I just like latched onto it so early in life. I think, you know, I'm going to college someday. I don't know what would have happened if I had given up on that. And I just, so many good things have come out of my college experience beyond that freshman year. I got to be, I wouldn't have ever believed anybody if they told me this freshman year or even sophomore year, but like I got to be a teaching assistant for a class, and like standing up in front of people and giving lessons and running study groups, and I got to study abroad for a year. They let me spend my entire senior year off campus in the Caribbean, and you know, I just, that, you know, even the possibility of stepping into an experience like that, like letting that be a possibility, I wouldn't have believed it had I not challenged myself enough sophomore year to really just expand that comfort zone of my own.
Let's face it, I mean, college is like one of the best opportunities that you can get. Getting an education gives you a better chance of success in your life. It gives you a chance to probably make more money. So it's gonna be hard, but you'll get used to it. And anything that's hard, you can work through. Anything that's hard, you gotta remember, is not always gonna be easy. So you just have to take it step by step. You'll have those days, but you can make it. Anybody can make it with the right tools. Just remember that, if nothing else.